build it, he will.
It's the Skinny on Sports Podcast with Aaron Cowk.
I throw balls far. You want good words? Data language.
Talk real sports with a real man.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
And now, here's the be-all, end-all, know-it-all of high school, college, and pro sports. Aaron Skinny Cowk with the Skinny on Sports.
We're talking about practice, man. I'm the MVP.
Good Monday morning out there, Western Oklahoma. Welcome to the Skinny on Sports, right here on 98.1 FM, the Sports Animal. We're glad to have you along for the next hour. Just be us today. We're not going to be able to get a hold of Jim, so hopefully we'll get back in touch with him next Monday. So we'll just go through the list. It was an awesome weekend in golf.
Yeah.
Did you see
The putt or the tackle?
the tackle? I mean, the putt was awesome. And can you imagine, that it was Nick Taylor, a Canadian dude, on the fourth playoff hole, 72-footer, to win your National Open?
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. And then Adam Hadwin, which I think most people in the golfing world would know who Adam Hadwin is more than Nick Taylor. Pretty good form by the security guard. Have you seen the one view where it's like from right behind Adam Hadwin?
Yeah.
And he comes out of nowhere. He
Yeah.
beats the block of Nick Taylor and his caddy just to plant Adam Hadwin.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Another question about coming out of the Canadian Open. What's wrong with Rory McIlroy?
I don't know.
His finishes. What was it? This week he had a chance to win in the last round, didn't. Was it last week? At Memorial? Yeah. Flamed out. We've seen it happen in majors. What's wrong with that guy? It's amazing what's happened in the past decade. He's coming off of the PGA in 2014. His fourth major in as many years. It seemed like he was going to rack these things up on Tiger speed. And instead, he can't even close out tournaments, much less majors. He had every chance to close out the British last year. Seems like that's maybe where this started.
Is he distracted?
I don't know.
It's a lot of,
He's not distracted the first three rounds. Why is he distracted?
That's good point.
It's crazy what's happening. The best U.S. Open is coming up this week.
Yeah.
When I say the best, that's because it's a West Coast U.S. Open, so that means prime time U.S. Open golf out at LA Country Club.
That is this week.
It is this week.
Wow.
It's a course you haven't seen, and it's a course that has one of the most iconic landmarks in America right off of the 13th or 14th tee.
What is that?
I'll tell you in a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And then a local guy played really well in the Corn Ferry. He needed it, too. He hadn't been playing very well over the last stretch, tell you that. NBA Finals Game 5 is tonight. Will we crown a champ? Recap of Game 4. I think you really saw the difference in the teams over those two games in Miami. How big a factor are the Nuggets moving forward? Is this a one-season thing where they kind of caught lightning in a bottle in between teams being retooled? Or are they going to be around for a while? And, of course, on the other side, Miami will try to become just the second team ever to come back from 3-1 in the finals. How about the College World Series?
Well, there's a team from Oklahoma in it.
There is a team
Not
from
the
Oklahoma
one I don't
in
think
it.
anyone expected.
And there's also a team that reminds me of Oklahoma from last year that's going to be there as well.
I don't know the field, so you're going to have to educate.
I'll tell you who else is
Okay.
there. There's still, I think, 6 of the 8 have been set.
Gotcha. There's still a couple.
Game 3s between Tennessee and Southern Miss, and then Stanford and Texas coming up today.
Go Stanford. Okay, cool.
Did you see? I'll tell you about their pitcher last night. It's Game 2 pitcher for Stanford. An incredible line. He may never be able to throw a baseball again, but by golly, he won Game 2 of the Super Regionals. And then we'll see how your weekend was.
Stanford and pitchers, man. What's going on there? Both softball and baseball.
Yeah, I mean, the stat line is not. I mean, it's crazy what he did. And then, man, it feels like you had a lot longer weekend than I did at the Fiveplex. 225-9698 is your phone or your text line. And I say that because both teams won their respective tournaments. It just felt like you probably were out there longer than I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
225.
4 days in a row.
225-9698. We got the text line rolling. Feel free to chime in with any of those things, whatever else might be on your mind. If you're an OU fan freaking out about recruiting, maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't, but things are not seemingly going well. But that can all change with just one 18-year-old's decision, right? That's all it takes to change everybody's opinion. If you're going to be outside the listening area, stay in touch with the show. Log on to kadsam.com. Download the app. The app's got it all. All the radio, the penny news, Big Elk and Paragon TV during the high school seasons. Good stuff there. And, of course, the Skinny on Sports podcast. Anywhere podcasts drop. How are you, Jared?
I'm well.
You got the same.
A little tired.
You got the same look I've got. That I wore my sunglasses in the sun all weekend long.
I made sure to really cake on the sunscreen before I went out to the ball fields every day. But yeah, it was a long weekend on the fields at the Fiveplex. It was a good weekend.
Well, what happened?
I guess we'll start with 8U. You know, they had to suspend that or postpone the tournament from last weekend to Friday night. And they come out and get a big win in the semifinals. So they're in the driver's seat. Got to win one of two in the finals. Well, they get beat in the first game by a pretty good Merritt team. And they come back. They get behind in that second game, that if necessary game, but they battle their way back and they hold on to win. So the 8U girls got a championship, and I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of parents who are listening would agree. Last fall when we started with this group, we thought we got a long road to hoe here. It's going to be a bit. But I give all the credit to those girls because they want to get better, and they did. And they got themselves a championship out of it. So very proud of them. And then started the 10U end-of-season tournament, league tournament, on Saturday, and took a loss to a really good Elk City team. I think we all know there are a lot of players on that team, great coaches, great players, and then our girls battled through the losers bracket, got the wins they needed to get to Sunday. By virtue of that, they had to win one game yesterday to get to the top three to qualify for state. And quite honestly, that was just the goal because we knew ahead of us were some really good teams. Well, they got that win against Navajo, went up against Cheyenne, got a great win there, and then go up against Elk City in the finals. Had to beat them twice. First game, went to extra innings, got the win. Second game, Elk City comes out, gets an early lead. Our girls keep swinging, keep plugging against a really good pitcher, and pulled out the win 5-3 in that one. And I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, it didn't really hit me yesterday what we just did by coming back through the losers bracket and beating. And I have the utmost respect for Elk City. I think you know that with their coaches and players. And we got two classic of games right there. It was great pitchers duels. It wasn't one of those 6 runs in and out, trading runs. It was who could play better defense, and then it got real tight. There's one play at the plate. It was tied up, and we had one out. We were on defense, and a hit, girl from second, and Elk City's coach, Coach McClure, he just sends her. Jamie sends her, and it's his daughter. And we got the out at first. Well, our first baseman, it was bang. it play at the plate, and that's inches away from Elk City winning a title. And I love games like that. It wasn't 12-10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The first game, it was We won. All my scores are blurred because this weekend 14 games in 4 days. So bear with me. We won like 7-4 or no, 5-4. Anyways, but my point is great pitching and great defense for both teams. Great timely hitting from both teams. And you're seeing these girls for everybody. Elk City, Canute, Cheyenne, everybody in that 10U group. They're starting to take that next step into playing good, solid game of softball where it's good pitching, timely hitting, great defense. Those are games I love to watch. So it was a fun weekend. It was very satisfying. Now both teams, 8U, 10U, moving on to state. Elk City's going to state. Cheyenne's going to state. They're top 3 in the 10U. So it was very, very fun. Very fun. Very rewarding. Proud dad here. I got 2 girls who are champions this weekend. So very, very proud of them.
Where's state?
State 10U will be at Weatherford, and 8U will be at Clinton.
Ugh.
So we do not have to travel
What a joke.
east of 35.
What an absolute joke.
We get to sleep in our own beds and relax. I mean, the problem with that is I got to come to work.
What a joke.
They did us nice this year. Okay, kids did. Where do you got to go? Sallisaw again?
Yeah. Yeah, that's where the state would be.
Well, in the past, we've been to Preston, Oklahoma. We've been to Stroud. Stroud wasn't too bad. Preston's way over there north or south of Tulsa. South of Jinx, really. And this year, they did us a favor by keeping it on this side, Clinton and Weatherford.
It's
happening at the same time, but our real fear was one would be like in Stroud and one would be Clinton or something.
Right.
So, I mean, we can make this work. So it's just not me and Allie with girls on both teams. We have some other parents, so we're already coordinating how we're going to do this, who's going to be with what kid and all that stuff.
Yeah, that helps for sure.
Yeah.
In that situation.
Yeah.
I think if we make it to the state tournament, that'd be what, the 3rd or 4th trip to Sallisaw
Really?
for us? Last year, T-ball. And Coach Pitch was at Weatherford, so it'd be the 3rd.
Do they have like great facilities over there?
It's pretty nice, yeah.
Okay.
And they run it really well.
I think that's a bigger part of it
They
is
can
how
run it
it's
really-
ran.
they
and
run it
not-
really well.
Yeah, because Preston, they'll tell you, they don't have the best of facilities, but man, they do it right when how they run their tournament. They make it all about the kids, you know what I mean? And it's a smoothly ran tournament. I remember I first went to Preston, I'm driving in. I thought I heard the banjo in the distance, and I thought, man, this is where they're having a state tournament. And then I quickly realized it's because how they run it. So so Sallisaw, you're getting both of them. You're getting good facilities and how they run it. I know Weatherford has good facilities. Clinton has that nice new facility over there at the west side of town. So, how was your weekend? Were you on the ball fields too?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
you were. How'd it go?
Yeah, we won.
That's all? Just you won?
Mm-hmm.
Won the title?
Yep.
We'll talk about it.
They played well.
Were they all blowouts or any close games? or-
Yesterday got tight.
Gotta add drama here, man.
But-
No?
There really wasn't any.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, good.
I mean, it was like 13-1, 12-0, 8-0.
You know, it's just, come on. It's bad for the sport.
And 7
it's
7
home
to 5.
field advantage. Come on.
Yesterday was 7-5 against Cheyenne. You know, that's that group. I know that those two teams. You know, we've always kind of been, or Wyatt's been on the Sayre side of the kind of that 3-way rivalry. But see, those kids, the Crushers and Cheyenne, they move up together, right? And so then Wyatt's team at Sayre, they were a little bit younger. And so there would be one summer where we would be involved in that, and then the next summer they would be up into the next age group.
Yeah.
So it's wasn't quite as intense throughout the years for our kids at Sayre as it was between those two teams.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I've watched a bunch of the games between those two over the years, and it seems like that it's a little bit more of respect for each other now than maybe it was. And I think you notice that as kids grow up, period. And my wife and I were talking about the difference in the sound of the game at a coach pitch game
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
now a midgets game.
Yeah.
It is so much less loud. I mean, it's, the coach pitch, as soon as the ball hit, everybody starts yelling.
Right.
On both sides. Throw it here, go to second, whatever it may be. Everybody's yelling. Whereas as you get older, it's just kind of like, all right, yeah, way to go. Good play.
Yeah.
And
It's like the ball's hit and there's a silence. Like, well, let's see what happens. We're not going, run,
yeah,
run,
exactly.
run,
Throw it a second. Two.
Because they know this. They know it by now. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's the first game yesterday was Elk City and Cheyenne, the Crushers and Cheyenne, to get into the finals, and they had a little bit of trouble throwing strikes, at times, and that, walks are still a double, if not a triple, even at this age.
Sure.
It's still kind of that way. Especially with the better teams, because you feel the better teams are more aggressive running the bases, and they just kind of have a better feel for it or what have you. And so that put them behind the 8-ball. But then they came back. They actually scored 3 runs in the last inning to get back into the championship game, and then they took out. They scored 2 in the top of the first, but then our guys it was 7-2 in the top of the 5th, and to their credit, they didn't quit. Got it back to 7-5. Had the tying run at the plate. But strikeout ended it. And so, both teams qualify for regionals. I'm not sure if there was 2 or 3 out of that league tournament. If it is 3, then the HBT Sluggers would be the next one.
Yeah.
And, of course, there might be some at-larges as well. But, yeah, this is kind of now it's the time where it gets fun, right? Because – even in these tournaments here during the summertime, outside of this weekend with the league. But, you see different teams, which is great. But a whole bunch of those don't have very many kids from the same town on them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So now when you get into this, and I think it's probably more, it feels like it's more on the baseball side here than it is the softball side, because a lot of you're playing kind of some teams from the league in tournaments a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so now, and teams that can move on to go play in the state tournament. And so that's kind of where we're at. Regionals, I think, is same week as y'all's state.
Right. Baseball's a week after.
Yeah. And then the state tournament would be the week after, because there is a regional round for baseball that's not there for softball. But no, they play great. Listen, I mean, that's what you expect, though. I mean, you get to a certain point, and as the team is, and it's what you expect them. I mean, okay, yeah. Now let's see what happens. But I think anyone that watched throughout the summer would have said that was the best team in that league, and that's the team that should win it. And they to their credit, though, they did. And they played well. And so limited mistakes as it moved along to be able to put themselves in position to win, and they did. And and everybody, that's what's cool about it. There's 13 of them, which is probably too many. Quite frankly.
Yeah.
But the cool part about it is you watch the 4 that aren't playing. They're not pouting.
Sure.
They're in the game. And then, oh, by the way, when they do get their chance, a lot of times they take advantage of it, which just makes it even harder on Jory to, try to feel like you're giving your team the best chance, as well as keeping everybody whatever happy. But the cool thing about it is, as far as the kids go, you don't see it. You don't see selfishness. That's just, hey, everyone's,
they know their role.
Everyone knows. Everyone
yeah.
gets it. That, that maybe it's not this game that I'm going to be in there, but I'm going to be ready if I am. And then also the next game, I'm ready to go then too. And so that's really, I think it's something that's great to learn at this age.
Right. We had a kid yesterday. We in softball, if you're not familiar, there's a DP flex. It's kind of like a DH, and she was batting, and she was struggling, and we decided, let's make a move. Let's try give someone else an at bat, because the same situation. There's 16 kids on this team,
right.
So I went and told her, hey, listen, we're gonna give this young, I won't say names, this young lady opportunity to swing the bat, and she owned it. She goes, okay. She didn't pout. She said, okay, sounds good. All right. So I applaud that. And I also applaud the parents who understand, if your kid's not playing, but they're still a big part of this team, So it is a tough situation for coaches. don't kid yourself. It's a tough situation for coaches who, have to make that decision, like who plays, who doesn't play, and it is it's a way to really test a kid's maturity to see if they can grasp that, to understand that they are very important. If you're on the bench or out in the field or not, you're a part of a team. You're very important. So.
Well, and here's the truth of it.
And that's the great thing about Little League baseball and softball is this is how you learn. I mean, there's a lot of life lessons you take away from this.
Well, and I mean, it's all well and good and it's fun in the moment, but there's no one out there that wouldn't trade winning a 8U or a 10U or 12U tournament for what's coming up later within especially when you have the school that you're going to be playing for later, like you guys do, like we do, and a bunch of the towns that come to the league. It's just preparing for later on. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, it's great that they get it early, but at the same time, you never know. I mean, some of those 13 or 16 that aren't playing now might end up being the stars.
Yeah,
in 6 years.
You see that all the time. Yeah, you'll see kids just bloom later. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
It's going to be exciting. Next, we'll see.
And there's a ton of teams, like you said.
Yeah.
Cheyenne, Elk City, and you guys in the 10.
In the 10U, the 8U, obviously us. They take 4 in 8U because the league was a little bigger.
Merritt.
Us, Merritt, Hobart, and Sentinel? Yes, Sentinel.
I know 12U, Elk City won. I don't know who they beat, but I know that.
The girls. Didn't even
I know.
follow
I know Elk City won the 12U.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I'd have to have some help on who else it was. Then let's see. I don't know who won the 10U. The Bombers
on the baseball side. Yeah, I don't know.
They were 8U winners. Bombers. You know who one of the coaches is for the Bombers?
Who's that?
Rodney.
Oh yeah, I saw a picture. Yeah.
I know they won.
Our man Rodney Skinner. Yeah,
that's right.
Well, good. I saw some of them had I think it was the coach pitch. 8U had to come over to the softball side to play some.
There was a bunch of games going on, man.
I saw a bunch of like, what are they doing over here? And I realized, like parents. And I'm like, what are they? They're usually just baseball parents. And I realized, they're over there playing.
Yeah, there was a big league. There was a bunch of games going on.
There was.
Tons, which is good. It's good for the town. Good for the city.
Absolutely, it is.
It's not good for my legs.
Are they burnt again?
I'm talking about
a lot of walking?
Yeah, the amount of walking you had to do. That place was packed, man. When the softball and the baseball is going on like that, it's hard to find a parking spot somewhere west of the Pioneer Center.
Yeah. I'm not getting picky when I pull in that parking lot. If I see one, I take it. And I don't illegally park. I think some people do that.
I think there's a little towing going on this weekend.
Well, I'm glad there's a certain company vehicle that wasn't towed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Twice saw them illegally parked. And I had to answer for it. Hey, Jared, why is it parked like that? Don't you work there? I'm not driving it. So embarrassing.
I just now figured out what you're talking about.
I have to answer for that. He's not supposed to park there. I know.
Give him a break. He had double knee replacement like a month ago.
Well, they have golf carts going around giving people rides.
It's actually true. And they had the trolley rolling from the middle, from like downtown out there. This time.
That's brilliant. They're going to have to start detouring to the new pool, I think.
Yeah, it's coming this week, kids. Hanging out here on a rainy, loud, thunder and lightning filled Monday morning. Did you get any hail? I thought I heard some small hail.
What, this morning?
This morning,
I didn't hear any hail at my place.
I heard just some small stones.
Was it Friday night, Saturday morning? Was that Friday?
Yeah, it was
Friday night, late Friday night,
real early.
Saturday. Yeah,
it's about 3 or 4 a.m. Saturday morning.
Yeah, I was so tired because we got home so late because of that tournament we talked about. Man, it woke me up, and I looked, and it even said severe thunderstorm warning. I went, oh, we're fine. I went back to sleep. I didn't care. I didn't pay attention. I think we got a little hail on that one, too.
I woke up this morning. I had 20 notifications from AccuWeather. And I don't listen. I know all we're doing is reading what the National Weather Service forecasts, but I got a little chuckle when I looked at the radar kind of heard my phone buzz, and I looked, and it was like 6:15 maybe. And I had all those AccuWeather, severe thunderstorm watch and this and that. And I remembered driving home yesterday after Wyatt's last game and hearing you on the forecast. Hey, good news, Western Oklahoma. For the first time in a while, no rain chances. And I just thought, because I remember doing the same thing.
You can't do the weather unless it's like right now because it's switching so
yes,
fast. I felt done.
I remember thinking on Friday, because, of course, little peek behind the curtain, we're not really doing that live over the weekend. It's recorded. Shockingly enough.
What? We're not here?
Somebody actually thought.
At every top of the hour or bottom of the hour doing this?
Listen, somebody actually thought.
We were in here every time?
A week ago Friday during the oil and gas, someone actually came up to me and said, "How did you make it back so fast?" I'm like, what? What do you mean? Dude, you were on. You were just doing the. Did you just drive in it? Can you do that from your phone?
Well, technically, you could.
I was like, yeah, I just did it from my phone.
I've done it from my phone before. I've recorded a whole newscast inside the FJ outside the State Fair Arena before.
That's true. Yeah, but I just thought, man, it's amazing. Because I guess I do say in studio. I was just kind of, you get.
Well, you are recording it in studio.
Yeah, you get into such a rhythm of saying stuff that it's almost like.
I try to mix it up, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I start it the same way every time. And then, of course, whatever the forecast is. But I thought that was humorous because I noticed it on, like, thinking to myself on Friday for yesterday, like, this is the first time that the forecast itself does not call for any chance of rain that I could remember. It had been raining so much. And then when I heard the thunder this morning, I just kind of giggled like, well, they missed that one. Anyhow, college baseball. How about ORU?
On a heater, man. I mean, that's great. I think we knew they had a chance going up to Oregon.
So they have now won, is it 23 of 24? Take 2 out of 3 from Oregon, and quite honestly, they blew an 8-0 lead in Game 1 up there. So the Golden Eagles into the College World Series, first time since 1978. Do you know who the coach was in 1978 of ORU?
No clue.
Yeah, you do. You know who you don't realize who it is, but you know the person. 1,000,000% you know the person.
Is it Ward?
Other school.
Cobble?
Coachell.
Why did I say Cobble?
He used to be coach football at Weatherford.
I'm getting my coaches mixed up.
Yeah, Larry Coachell.
It was Larry Coachell.
Yes, in 1978, ORU made it to the College World Series. They're back this year, 51-12. First time the program's won 50 games. They had a 21-game winning streak going into the Supers. Yeah, Parker Ward from Leedy. Mark's son is on that ORU team.
Well, maybe surely Mark's going up there. You get him on the air when he's up there. Get him daily reports from Omaha.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That would be awesome.
I bet he'd do it. I bet he'd do that. That's great. That's awesome. I mean, you got a local flavor there, and then you got an Oklahoma team going. I mean, they're kind of reminding me.
See, this
like
isn't
OU of last year, but who you said someone else?
Texas Christian University, TCU.
Ah, yeah.
TCU. Think about what they've done. It's almost identical to Oklahoma.
This is true.
Almost identical. Now the only difference is they didn't have to go to Terre Haute, Indiana, and win. They actually got to host that Super because the facilities at Indiana State apparently aren't up to par and able to host that thing. Which there's also some controversy down in Hattiesburg, Mississippi about sort of the same thing with Southern Miss hosting Tennessee. But TCU blows through the Big 12 tournament. They go on the road and win a regional, and then now they beat a nationally seeded team, both regionals and supers, to be able to make it to Omaha. That they remind me so much of OU, and because they were pounding the baseball, they're getting good pitching. It's really similar in my mind to what the Sooners did last year, what TCU has done so far in this playoff run. Here's the thing, though. I wonder if it matters. Have you seen Wake Forest play?
No, I've heard they're really, really good.
Dude,
they
they
can hit really
pound
yeah,
the ball.
They can hit really good.
They absolutely pound the ball. Beat Alabama yesterday, 22-5, I think was the final.
Man, have mercy.
And so the teams that are in the College World Series, the number 1 seed Wake, which is crazy because we were sitting here thinking last week on Monday when there was all of those ranked teams having to win just to get into super regionals. Mm-hmm. It was Florida. It was Kentucky. I think LSU maybe. Did Virginia have to win? Stanford had to win. There was a bunch of them. Now we're going to end up with a bunch of we're going to end up with a few at least of the seeded teams in this thing. But Wake's in, Florida's in, LSU is in, Virginia, who lost game 1 to Duke, came back and won twice. They're in. Texas and Stanford play a game 3 tonight. TCU's in. Tennessee and Southern Miss will play a game 3, and then of course Oral Roberts, and that rounds out the field so far for the College World Series on the men's side. Now here's the question, Jared. Last year, Ole Miss was your national champs on the field, and their fans were the champions off the field. With the Jello shots.
Right.
Of the fan bases that are headed to Omaha, I feel like there is a clear off the field winner of the Jello shot contest.
Tell me again who they are.
You've got Wake, Florida, Virginia, LSU, TCU. You already shook your head. You already know who it is. Now, the only question mark here is, can LSU break Ole Miss's Jello shot record from last year?
They'll try.
Well, and here's the deal: Ole Miss was able to, be there for the entirety.
That's true. That who's going to be there the longest? Yeah.
But
see, and then you think about the size of school and the size of fan bases, right? So if TCU can stay on this streak, will there be enough fans? I mean,
no.
Wake Forest,
LSU's winning this one.
LSU.
Yes.
I don't think it matters how long they're there.
I don't either. They might be able to win this thing in 2 days.
Yes.
I also think there's a clear last place team.
ORU.
Obviously, right?
Well, it's a Christian university. I know there's TCU, but I mean the ORU is like big time Christian university, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would it be a double standard if ORU wins the?
There might be some administration going, who is breaking that record? No one's going to own up to it. I don't know.
Wouldn't it be funny if the LSU fans?
I wasn't at the game. I was at church, Padre. I don't know what happened. I don't know.
I think it'd be funny if the LSU fans just said they were ORU fans and ran their score up.
That'd be funny. That'd be funny.
All right, so that's the College World Series. It'll get going up in Omaha this week once the Supers are done today.
How about ORU, man?
That's awesome.
Look at their basketball. A couple years ago, they beat Ohio State. And then they're doing this. And their baseball team. Their baseball team has actually been consistently pretty good the last few years.
So their men's basketball and their baseball were the best in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and then you got Tulsa right down the road, right? They've been kind of carrying the flag for the city of Tulsa.
No doubt.
And the state.
Yeah, in basketball and baseball.
Yep.
ORU is rolling. That's cool. Very, very cool.
Yep.
I think that, and the way it's set up, so the first game for each team, ORU will play TCU.
Oh, cool. Well, they're not going to be scared of them.
Isn't that right?
I don't know, but I don't think they're going to be scared of anybody.
Yeah, because Oregon was the 11. That was 11-6. OSU was 11. Vandy was 6. TCU beat Arkansas, which was 3. Yeah, so 6-3. That's exactly. I'm pretty sure that's right. It'll be ORU and TCU. So one of those two little bitty schools will be moving on.
Let's go. Yeah, I like it.
Hope we get Southern Miss.
Yeah.
You see the Tennessee fans are mad?
What are they mad about now?
Okay, so Southern Miss is hosting instead of.
Okay,
I'm sure we all know that Tennessee's baseball facilities are going to be better than Southern Miss's.
It better be.
So there was inclement weather, lightning and things, and the only place to store the Tennessee team was underneath the bleachers, the metal bleachers. Tennessee fans were pretty upset about that. Like, how in the world can they host and not us? Because, I mean, essentially that's why TCU got to host, even though they weren't the higher seed, because of facilities.
Because of facilities?
Yeah. So Southern Miss or Tennessee fans are mad.
Oh, no.
That didn't happen for them.
Darn.
Anyway, Game 5 of the NBA Finals tonight. Is it over? Oh, wait. I forgot one thing about the baseball. So Quinn Matthews pitched for Stanford last night.
Yeah, give me that. What happened there?
Okay, he threw a complete game. Gave up 8 hits, 3 earned runs, walked 1, struck out 16. Texas Longhorn hitters. You know how many pitches it took him to do it?
I'm going to guess around 70.
70.
How many?
156.
I thought it'd be. I thought you were going to throw me a lowball number.
No. He threw
Okay.
156 pitches to strike out 16 Longhorns in 9 innings. That's just stuff you don't see anymore.
No.
You used to see that in college baseball, but you don't see that anymore. Yeah, that's right. Text line's ice. he may not be able to throw a baseball again until next week, which they won't need him if they win. But I thought that was it. That's just not a number you see in any form of baseball, really, at this moment in time. 156 pitches. Wow. And guess what? 103 of them were strikes.
That's pretty consistent.
He threw more strikes in that game than most guys throw in any start all year long.
Yeah.
So, Texas and Stanford, Game 3 today. All right. Finals over tonight.
Yeah. I because I said 5, but mainly because Denver's the better team. And it's back in Denver. They're going to slam the door shut. In fact, I'll even say it's going to be a blowout.
Kind of feels like it, doesn't it?
It doesn't feel like there's much pub about this game because I think everyone's thinking the same thing. You're not hearing a bunch of chatter about it or how they, it's just, I think everybody's just kind of, you know what I mean? It is what it is. I mean, you got a 1 seed versus an 8 seed. We saw this coming. Kudos to Miami for taking 1, but I did say 5. So
Yeah, I had it in 4.
you had in 4, I had in 5. So, anyways, no, I think it's gonna be a blowout. I'm more interested in the hockey.
Yeah, with 3-1 there,
I didn't
too.
even know it was 3-1, but that ending of that game, did you see the ending of game whatever it was?
Game 4.
How close that was for Florida. And a little chippy, my goodness. I know it's hockey and everything, but my goodness.
You got behind 3-0 early. They got all the way back and just nearly.
I thought they were going to do it. The way the crowd was reacting. I didn't get home until about midway through the third. And then I kind of got the rundown. So they were down at 3-1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was 3-0.
And they really gave this. That's been more entertaining than the NBA Finals. And we've always said hockey is a faster-paced, fun game to watch, especially the Stanley Cup Finals. Really pulling for Florida to tie that series up. And there's still possibility that they could extend this thing.
Yeah.
But as far as the NBA is concerned, it's Denver's, man. And I know I got no internet, so I can't look at the rundown. But I know kind of talking about was on your rundown about their window of opportunity here.
Yeah. So the first thing was I think you saw the difference in these teams in those games in Miami. This Game 3 that happened on Thursday, or Wednesday, I guess it was. That was the game where Murray and Jokic go nuts. They both have the first teammates in any NBA game ever with 30-point triple-doubles. So,
Yeah.
The stars were really the stars. And then in Game 4, it was the bench. It was Aaron Gordon and it was Bruce Brown that were the catalyst of winning that game. And that's just something that Miami can't do. They don't have the two-headed monster. And they also don't have the deep bench. It's just like, man, how in the world do you expect them to ever win a game when Gordon was 11 of 15 at 27, Brown had 21 on 8 of 11 shooting. I mean, you're just outside of maybe a Duncan Robinson game, which I don't understand why he doesn't play more. He got 25 minutes in game 4. It's a 1 seed versus an 8 seed. And you can say, well, that's the way it was with Milwaukee. It was. But this Denver team, man, they have hit all the right buttons. Mike Malone has hit all the right buttons. The team has. Jokic has gotten better. Murray has come back to what he was, and even better than he was, down in the bubble before he hurt his knee. So that is the question now. Is this just a perfect storm for Denver because you've got the Lakers kind of retooling their team? Phoenix made the big move in the middle of the season to get Durant. Clippers are the Clippers. Dallas is trying to search in whatever. And Golden State seemingly taking a step back. Was this just the perfect year for Denver to kind of bring everything together, or do you think the Nuggets are going to continue to be really at the top of the heap of the contender list in the Western Conference and even for the NBA Finals?
I think Jokic, I don't think he's still young, right? I don't know his age off the top of my head, but I think as long as they have him, they're going to have a nucleus to build around. He doesn't seem like he's going to be a guy that's going to – he seems more down to earth. He seems like he's going to be a guy who wants to be in Denver, especially if they can keep winning at a high level. Yeah, it's just a question of who they can put around him, keep Murray there, and do they draft well? Obviously they do. They made the trade with the Thunder, and are they trying to continue to make that window larger to win more and more and more? I don't think this is a flash in the pan by any means. I think they can, because we saw what we have seen in the past of them competing at a high level, but couldn't quite figure it out in the playoffs. And this would be like a watershed moment for them if they can bring home a title. It's like, okay, we know we can win at the highest of levels now. And so I don't think it's just a one and done thing. I think we could see they're going to be right there in the mix for a bit. Now, are they going to be Golden State? Oh, no, I don't think so. But are they going to be in the conversation of who you picking for the NBA Finals in the beginning of the year? Or, I think they'll be the favorites of the West for the next, as long as they have Jokic there and good pieces around them, good coaching, obviously good management. It's a well-ran franchise right now. So I can see them being contenders in the West, if not the NBA Finals for a bit.
Yeah, the core is young. Jokic 28, Murray 26. Porter Jr. is the guy they paid, and he's only 24. And really outside, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is 30. Obviously, Uncle Jeff is an old man at 36. But it's a young core. I think you mentioned the Thunder move from last week. I think that's a really interesting trade for both teams. With the Thunder having 4 first-rounders next year, you obviously don't have slots for all those guys. No. So how do you, and people were yelling at the hilltops, why can't we get players for these picks? Well, here it's the same thing. You've got guys that are already in those roster spots. Now, can you upgrade? Sure, and that'd be something that's going to be looked at moving forward. But I think it made sense for both teams because the window for the Nuggets is now, and this helps them maybe. If they can hit on a young guy that doesn't cost much for a few years, then that extends out through, into the next contracts or the end of these contracts with Murray and Jokic, where they can afford to kind of supplement the team if they can hit on these young guys, and that gives them another opportunity. While when you look at the Thunder are more a few years away from needing that window to stay open, right? And as much as it was exciting to make the play-in, as much as that was cool, I think that in people's minds it sped up the timeline. The timeline still is what it is, Now, does that even – but there's factors in that. I mean, if Chet is really good, then all of a sudden maybe those moves that Presti's got in his mind for 3 or 4 years from now start happening a year or 2 from now. If that – I mean, it's all about, maximizing that space of time and being available and having moves available to you when it's time. You know, and I think that's one of the main lessons that hopefully was learned from the first time to this next run, is being able to be a little bit more flexible with your roster and picking up what could be that missing piece. So I think it was a really interesting trade with with 0 players being moved, and it kind of maybe even gave you an insight into the thinking of both. Obviously, the Nuggets are let's go right now. They're about to win the title. So, but the Thunder-wise, just extending that on out just a little bit longer to be able to maximize that when it gets here. How many? Oh, here we go. You bet a White Buffalo coffee
On the text line?
Yeah,
That the Heat win?
That the Heat win tonight. I'm in.
Is he betting both of us? Because he just said your name.
You can have it.
White Buffalo's pretty good.
Is it? I don't know. I've never been there.
I've had it. It's not bad. I don't know. No, man.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll take that bet.
Okay, there we go. Isn't that fun? I mean, that's our first. Is that our first listener
I think
bet?
it's a first listener bet.
All right.
It's one for the ages here. Yeah.
You know, if any of our salespeople are listening, maybe that's a opportunity there.
I'm laughing at multiple reasons here.
Get that deal started.
I am back online on this side, though. So, step in the right direction.
No phone still.
No phone on your end.
Man, we got bets flying.
Yeah, now everybody's wanting to make bets. Listen, we can't pay up on all these bets if we lose.
Well, why not?
What?
You got to be selective on one
Find
of the
some
ones you
sponsors.
take.
Yeah, I guess so.
Here's a bet: Rory never winning another major. Don't say never. I saw what happened with our good friend Jim on that one, and then he changed it to next 5 years. He is a really interesting character right now in the game of golf, that Rory McIlroy, because I still believe in my heart of hearts that if everybody plays their very dead level best, Rory wins.
Agreed.
I think he has the most talent still. I think he's the most talented out there. But there is clearly something wrong in finishing these tournaments. Just kind of going down since he won in South Carolina a year ago. Well, not a year ago, in October. He's only shot a final round under 70 once. And that was at the PGA, where he tied for 7th. The other rounds at Phoenix, 70. Riviera, 71. The Arnold Palmer, 70. Wells Fargo in Charlotte, 72. Memorial last week, 75. And then yesterday, another 72. And, yeah, a bunch of those are in the top 10, but that's not what Rory McIlroy is out there to do. He's not out there to finish in the top 10. He's out there to win the tournament. And he's had a lot of trouble closing tournaments in the final round. And that's something that, man, it's amazing what has happened to him since walking off the course. I guess it was at Valhalla in 2014, holding off Ricky Fowler in the British and the PGA that year, because they were flopped the way they're in reverse order. It used to be PGA in August, and he holds off Ricky to win, and you think to yourself, man, this guy's that's his fourth at such a young age. This is like double digits on the Tiger Trail,
Right.
You know?
Right.
And he hasn't won one since. It was unfathomable. If someone would have said that, and like the wrap up on the Golf Channel after he wins that, the conversation was, can he make it to double digits, winning majors? And everyone's answer was yes. Mm-hmm. 'Cause he was so young. And for him to not put another one away in all of that time is just shocking. Shocking. I mean, it's more shocking to me than what happened with Tiger, because Tiger didn't play he was hurt, a lot of that time from 2008 until he broke back through in 2019. I mean, there was times where he was healthy, but there was also a bunch of that time where he wasn't. Rory doesn't have that excuse. And he just has not been able to do it. It's crazy. Yeah, Spieth is that way. And those guys kind of jumped out of the gate, and then they just came to a screeching halt. How about you want to talk about the putt or the tackle from yesterday on the final green?
Both were almost equally incredible. Putt was amazing.
I mean, you the putt, everybody's going crazy, and you actually hear Jim Nantz say something along the lines of, and Adam Hadwin just got tackled. And you're like, what? What do you mean? And then you start seeing all these different angles.
Yeah. I can't recall. Help me, though. The spraying of champagne, is that a Canadian thing? At the Canadian Open? I don't recall that ever happening at any other tournament.
You see those guys, you see them like a first win type thing.
Okay.
Where in buddies, you know.
Sure.
And I'm sure
right.
I'm sure the Canadian winning the Canadian Open, you know, that.
Right, I get it. I don't ever recall seeing that on after a tournament win.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly you're not going to see it at Augusta, but I mean, or any other major for that matter, but I don't ever recall seeing it.
It's happened numerous times, which just and especially young guys that win like their first win.
Mm-hmm.
Seem like their other buddies will come, kind of give them that treatment.
You wouldn't get tackled if it was a live event.
Now they have kind of a dance off there on the last screen of those.
Way to go, Canada!
And I saw Adam Hadwin, who got tackled. His wife, she's pretty funny follow on Twitter. She's pretty smart aleck. And she said something about, I know everybody has been waiting on my reaction to what happened. I had to put the kids to bed or something like that. And she was like, yes, the rumors of Adam's demise are true. And she said, but in total Canadian fashion, when he got up off the mat after he got tackled, he apologized to the officer for being there.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, I can tell you this. I've never seen that before.
Don't know.
As far as like, I mean, it's one thing for some yahoo to run on the field naked or something like that.
Yeah, take him
they,
down.
Yeah, they get blasted
they
all the
deserve it.
time.
Yeah.
But I've never seen another athlete actually get taken down the way that Hadwin. I mean, if I'm the Edmonton Eskimos, I may be calling about the employment of that guy. It was a perfect form tackle. He came around the corner there. It's funny because that one video, you could see him on one side of Nick Taylor and his caddy, and he sees Hadwin coming. Then he sprints around the other side, and he just comes out of nowhere. Bam!
Yeah, he shed
Hadwin
the block.
Up.
It was a perfect shed the block, little swim move action, and took him down. Now, did he hold on to the bottle?
It looked. It was hard to see the aftermath.
Maybe
of it.
sign him up. I mean, if he can take a hit like that and still hold on to the rock, I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean, how crazy would that be if he like sprained something
and
wasn't able to play this week at the U.S. Open? What a terrible break that would be.
Well, now he has something. Now he has an excuse in his back pocket. Oh man, I shanked that one. It's because I'm a little sore from getting tackled.
Remember that guy tackling me and everybody thought it was funny? It's not so funny now.
Yeah, it took about 10 yards off my drive because I can't put much into it. And oh man, blame Canada.
Yeah, that was funny. I mean, just as soon as you could see a bunch of tour pros like, oh, what a putt, like on Twitter. Oh, I've got goosebumps. Wait a minute, what? Nance just said Hadwin got tackled. I need video now. And then they all started coming out. All the videos started coming out on Twitter. We'll hit U.S. Open coming up this week out at LA Country Club. I mentioned it's not one of the 8 wonders of the world. It was cooler. You know what's right there? I mean, one of the most iconic properties in American history.
Is it the Hollywood sign?
Nope.
Is it Griffin's Observatory? What is it?
The Playboy Mansion.
Oh, awesome.
It's right there. It's not near.
Is that still a thing?
No, I don't think it's as much fun as it once was.
Hugh is gone. Hefner's gone.
Yeah, no.
And there's actually not even a magazine anymore. It's all online, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still a thing?
I think there's still wild animals over there.
Oh, yeah? No bunnies?
I was watching a kind of a preview of the course, and there was something about a monkey bit one of the caddies.
Are you kidding me?
No. On that tee box, I guess it's right there
Does
to
a
part of that property.
Texas football coach live in there? Or?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, anyhow. So that's there. Also, Weatherford native Quade Cummins was awesome this week on the Corn Ferry Tour. He'd been struggling for most of this season, and he was even kind of struggling a little bit in round one. They were in North Carolina, and his Greer, South Carolina. Anyways, he was even par through 16 holes in round one. He birdies 17 and 18 to finish 2 under, and then he goes 6 under, 5 under. I think he shot 4 under yesterday to finish 17 under, tied for 7th. So good week for Quade. And it's a good time for him to be playing good because after we got the Corn Ferry Tour in 2 weeks is going to be right back here in Oklahoma at Jimmy Austin, a place that he knows very, very, very well, obviously, with all the years he spent playing at OU. So good times maybe ahead for Quade as he tries to forge his way onto the PGA Tour, but at the very least keep his Corn Ferry Tour card for next year. So a good week for Quade, finishing tied 7th out in South Carolina at the BMW Charity Championship on the Corn Ferry Tour. So good stuff. A bunch of local guys playing really good golf.
That's right.
With Ryder and now Quade. That'll be fun. I'm interested to see how many of those, if one of those OU guys that are on the Corn Ferry, from Goddard up to Logan McAllister, Quade, there's a bunch of them. One of those guys can use that local knowledge to earn a win.
Yeah.
Everybody have a great Monday. We'll be back tomorrow.
You've been listening to the Skinny on Sports podcast with Aaron Cow. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to get alerts of when the latest podcast is available. Thanks for listening.
That ball is blistered around.